I think he's exactly right, and this is similar to LeBron saying he's in sync with the front office and that they already have a championship roster. The moment you pair up LeBron James and Anthony Davis, you have a championship roster. That as long as LeBron is still LeBron, and if the MVP voting were done today, he would finish second. And as long as Anthony Davis continues to play at this level, and if the awards voting were done today, he would be your defensive player of the year. As long as you just have complementary pieces, Antoine, who know their role, Green, Kuzma, Bradley, KCP filling in the wings, Dwight and JaVale trading off the center duties, with the one real question mark being, who is our backup point guard and who is going to run the offense when LeBron goes to the bench? Well, hell, nights like last night when Rondo gives you 20-plus, you're going to be damn near unbeatable. And so, yeah, of course they're a championship team. Could they have added something at the deadline? Maybe. Would Darren Collison have helped them out? I think he would have. I know you think the impact's maybe a little overstated. But you have two of the best six in the world at what they do in a sport where you only have to play 5 guys. So, yeah, of course that's a championship team.
Well, I play on a championship team, and the seasons come very long. When you start the season off at training camp and you believe that you're going to win a championship, it's different layers you go throughout the season. The Lakers got off to a great start, which they wanted to do, get in control of the 1 seed in the playoffs. And then, obviously, they got to stay through the season and get injury-free. They got to make sure nobody gets hurt. I don't know what happened over the trade deadline that they felt like they didn't make all these massive trades because they hit a little bump in the road. That happens. You're 52 games into the season now, and they only got 12 losses, so they don't need to make a lot of changes. And then you got to think about they getting great production from a lot of guys that are championship pedigree. When you think about JaVale McGee, Dwight Howard, both their centers, I think, are having great years. Obviously, Rondo, we can question that he had 23 last night. Nick, me and you could argue about that, but I think he's going to be fine come the end of the season. Danny Green, they need him to continue to be consistent. I think more on the defensive end. I think he'll make shots. He's been there before. And then, obviously, Avery Bradley, I think it's going to be the, kind of the diamond in the rough for them because he can play the 1 and 2, but what he can do defensively is unbelievable. They were great last night defensively against the Phoenix Suns. Offensively, production was obviously great last night, too, as well. But, the question mark, I would say, for the Lakers is probably Kuzma. What are you going to get from him come playoff time? Is he going to give you 15 tonight? Is he going to be able to defend at the level that they need to win a championship? Do you going to have to go small and play through 2 small guards? So those are some of the things I think the Lakers should worry about more so than adding a piece because they do have a championship team.
Well, keeping with this trend of you criticizing a player, then that player goes out and actually puts some points on the board. Let's talk about Rondo. You talked about how this team, as long as the complementary pieces all fit in, do you put Rajon Rondo in that category? He had a big game last night. If he plays like that, can you see this team having no real holes?
Yeah, well, listen, they're 13-1 this year when Rondo scores in double digits. And now a lot of those games, the reason he's gotten to double digits because they've been blowouts one way or the other. Hasn't been a bunch of great competition in those 14 games. But it is the one missing piece on the roster is backup point guard play and what happens to the offense when LeBron goes to the bench. Rondo, one of the reasons I have been critical of Rondo is because this is not a 50-game issue. This is last year with the Lakers. He was a huge detriment to their on-court, off-court numbers. He has not had a positive net rating for a season since 2012. Since the year, that was the first LeBron championship season. LeBron's second year in Miami, Rondo with the big 3 in Boston, their second year last together. That was the last year Rondo had a net positive impact when he was on the court on his team. That's 8 years ago. So, yeah, I am concerned. I am concerned that because you can't rely on Rondo playing the way he did last night. I will give him credit. He played great yesterday, and we did see him in a year where he wasn't great with the Pelicans in the playoffs be really impactful, the Anthony Davis, DeMarcus Cousins year in that postseason. And so I understand, or the year Anthony Davis and DeMarcus Cousins were together, I should say, I understand the glimmer of optimism, but I can just evaluate it on what we've seen from him as a Laker. Last year, he had the worst net rating of any player on the team. This year, he's the second worst of any player that's playing. That is concerning to me, Antoine.
Well, I'm going to put it like this. This is what you got to look at. The numbers probably show there's a negative impact number-wise, but what he brings to this team, let's start with one you just talked about a couple years with AD. I think LeBron knew that he played great with AD. He wanted him back. I think that's the biggest thing. Last year, after LeBron being out, obviously Rondo was there. He made an emphasis, let's make sure Rondo comes back to be on this team. I think what he brings in the locker room, I think his basketball IQ, what he's doing behind the scenes that we may not see or hear about is very valuable. And I think, Rondo has a lot of pride. This is a championship point guard who could potentially be a Hall of Famer. You don't think he was mad that they were going out to Darren Collison? You don't think he felt a certain type of way? I think with his play last night kind of showed that. Obviously, he's not going to get 23 every night, but I thought he played with a lot more energy. He was aggressive on the offensive end. And that comes from he's reading the Clippers, too. So he's got social media. He knows what the team is doing. So he's probably showing them, like, I'm still your guy.
Well, and one other thing, and I think you and I agree on this, the impact of what is the team going to do when LeBron goes to the bench, that gets really overstated once you start, or understated, pardon me, once the playoffs start. Because LeBron's going to play 42 minutes. He's going to play 42 minutes a night. The last time we saw LeBron in the playoffs, he played 82 games in the regular season. He then played 22 postseason games for 104 games for the season. In games 99 through 104, his final 6 games of his heaviest workload of his career, he averaged 46 minutes per game in those final 6 games. Like he is a guy that has been he has been tireless in his ability to play at enormous minutes, old school minutes, like the ways the guys did a couple generations ago come the postseason. So I don't think you need 15 great minutes of backup point guard play. You need like 5 to 8 in a postseason game. And the question is, can Rondo, and if not Rondo, can Caruso give those?
Juan, you trust Rondo moving forward?
Yes, I trust him on the court and off the court. I think Rondo's heard the noise. He responded last night in a big way with a big game. Obviously, they played the Phoenix Suns, but I think he was anxious to get back on the court and show that he is the answer that they need to come off the bench. I mean, listen, he's only playing 20 minutes a night. He can give them, come playoff time, that may be a little shorter unless he makes shots early in the game when he gets in. He'll probably play 10 minutes a night. And I think he'll do a good enough job for them when he comes into the game. You got to remember, LeBron James is so ball dominant. We don't know how much Rondo's going to actually handle the ball. It may be a little window there in the second quarter when LeBron's resting and a little bit to start the fourth. So he's going to be good enough to get the job done. This is a championship guard. This is a guy who's played significant roles.
It was a long time ago, though.
Yeah, but I just saw him 2 years ago with New Orleans with less talent and and have a great playoff with the ball in his hands and had to deliver game in and game out on both ends. Obviously, last year he was hurt. He didn't really play a full season. This year he was been hurt a lot. So he's got some. He probably still got some energy left, some legs left to make a good push, a good run. But I think we've given up on him too soon.
Well, okay, and maybe I'm guilty of that, but I don't know if it's too soon. Listen, net rating is not everything, but it is indicative. This is how your team does when you're on the court. This is how your team does when you're off the court. He has not had a positive net rating, meaning his team has not been better with him on the court than off the court since 2012. 2012 is a long time ago. 2012 was the year the Celtics were up 3-2 on LeBron and the Heat before LeBron had a single championship, before LeBron's famous Game 6, 45-15-5, and the Heat went on to win the next 2 titles. That's how long ago it was the last time over the course of a regular season Rondo had a positive net rating. And when I watch these games, Antoine, I feel like the games, beginning of the season, by the way, when they got off that super hot start, keep in mind Rondo was out the first dozen games of the year. I think Caruso's a better fit for this team right now. It's one of the reasons I wanted Collison. Now, I want to give Rondo credit. Rondo was great last night. And when he scored double digits there, Jenna mentioned it, 13-1. All they need is a little bit from that secondary ball handler because LeBron's going to play so many minutes come the postseason. But when you watch the Lakers, a lot of times it feels like, man, they're up 9 with 3 minutes left in the first quarter. LeBron goes to the bench, and all of a sudden at the end of the quarter, it's like, wait, they're up 2?
Well,
what
LeBron's
happened?
not going to go to the bench when you hit the playoffs, right? You don't have.
Well, just for these small segments, can you survive those small segments?
You want to at least keep the lead. You don't want to be down if LeBron's got you a lead. You at least want to be even when he's out the game. But let's put another component to it also too, and this is why I think Frank Vogel, Jason Kidd, the brain trust of the coaching staff for the Lakers has to be a little bit more creative. If you're saying Rondo and you're actually looking at another point guard, what about the 2 guys you also have on the roster? What about Quinn Cook, who's played in the finals, who's played in big games, who's shown that he can handle the moment? We saw that with Golden State. Even Troy Daniels, obviously we haven't seen a big sample size of him, but he's a knockdown shooter. Why not go a little deeper You got time right now. You got 30 games, and maybe get those guys 5 games at a time at Rondo's minutes to see if they can do it.
Or just what about just giving Caruso Rondo's minutes? What about just flipping that Caruso's spot in the rotation with Rondo? Those two. Even if you don't want to go all the way to Troy, because Troy is a knockdown shooter.
Right.
But that's really what he brings. He has a very limited skill set. If you're down big and you need shooting, Troy Dale's a great guy, but he's not a great defensive player, doesn't do a lot else. Why not just give Caruso Rondo's minutes for any reason other than Rondo is Rajon Rondo and has established himself in this league and has all this respect?
And I know Frank very well. Obviously, went to school together. He, coached me with the Celtics. I think he's just respect factor. He's respecting Rondo and what he's done for the game, and he knows what he's doing in the locker room. I said this earlier. We don't know what Rondo's doing in that locker room, and I think he's being very, with that basketball IQ of his, I think he's being very helpful. I think Frank Vogel likes that. He's respecting the veteran in there. And I think if they feel like they need to pick up a Darren Collison, look down your bench. You may be right. Let's see if some of these other guys that we picked up with the one guy in Quinn Cook who has championship pedigree to see if he can get in there and give you some good minutes.
And it should be noted, LeBron clearly loves him. LeBron has immense respect for Rondo, but this has been a weakness for LeBron throughout his career in being able to disassociate his either personal affection for a player or his respect for the player's brain. Because Rondo is brilliant. Rondo's brilliant on and off the court. He might be the world's greatest Connect Four player. He has a photographic memory. So I think LeBron has tremendous respect for the battles they went through in Boston. Hell, in 2010, Rondo might have outplayed LeBron in that playoff series, but that was a decade ago. And that Rondo sees things on the court like LeBron does. It just in how many games he's played with the Lakers, about 100 games with the Lakers, it just hasn't translated to a positive impact on the court. If it does, if Rondo can have a positive net rating in the postseason, even Milwaukee, nobody can beat the Lakers. If Rondo can be good,
you just don't know if that'll happen.
I just haven't seen the evidence of it yet. I'm rooting for it, obviously.
Right.
I haven't
also,
seen the evidence
too, I heard he's a good spades player. Tell him I'm looking for him.
Oh, okay.
Tell Rondo I'm looking for him.
Oh, okay.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.